Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi.
Can I see some faces? Because it's all as if I'm talking to myself. Hi Praveen.
Yeah, hi Rajesh.
Hi Shama.
Yeah, hi Rajesh.
Hi. Hi Samina. Nice seeing you after some time. Hi Ravi. Nice. See what happens is in these webinars, basically it looks like as if I'm speaking to a wall if no one is visible. फिर यार मैं भी ठंडा हो जाऊंगा आप भी लोग भी ठंडे हो जाएंगे. So today's session, see, normally my session is quite intense and lot of information and all. But today's session is going to be much more interactive. So I want quick responses, especially it's fine if you into the chat window. So it would be more of an interaction session, less of information and more of discussion. Is it fine?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. So are you all ready to participate in the session? If you are all ready to participate in the session, type ready in the chat window. Thank you. Yeah. The current pandemic situation. So the pandemic started sometime in March 2020. Uh, we are in Jan 21, but it's still far from over. And there are a lot of after effects still going on. No clarity about the current situation. So before we start, I would just introduce myself so that people who are attending my session for the first time. So uh, I keep conducting this financial sessions every once in every month through Ethica Work Life. So there would be a few people who have seen me earlier, but people who have like seeing me for the first time, let me introduce myself. So I'm Rajesh Jain. I'm a financial planner and an investment coach. Basically, in terms of my qualification, I'm a commerce graduate. I've done my law graduation from Siddhartha College, Vijayawada. I'm a fellow company secretary. I've done my executive program in finance from IIM Kozhikode. In fact, I was the topper of my batch during that year. I started my career as an advocate. So after finishing my law graduation, I started my career as an advocate. Started practicing in the local AP High Court. Practiced for about a couple of years, then completed my CS. I joined a couple of listed companies like Surana Group and CK Vela Group. Worked in various positions as a company secretary and also was in charge of various other business divisions. Then after completing my executive program in finance, I joined as a CFO in Horman Group. Horman is a German MNC. They have their Indian subsidiary. So I was a CFO of their Indian subsidiary. In 2018, finally I quit employment and decided to be an entrepreneur myself. I joined my very old friend Dasri Prasad as a joint promoter and managing director of Welltree Group. Currently, I'm a SEBI registered equity research analyst. I'm an AMFI registered mutual fund advisor and IRDA registered insurance planner. In the last 3 years, I've trained a lot of MBA students, graduates, corporate employees in various aspects of personal financial planning, insurance, mutual funds, and stock markets. In stock market, basically, I take more of fundamental analysis. So I'm a value investor myself, and I train people on how to do value investing. So this is about me. So I hope convinced that you can bear me for the next 1 hour. I want to start hearing from you all. Okay, what has been the impact of the pandemic on you in the last 1 year? What had been the impact of this pandemic, both personally, professionally, and financially? In all the three aspects, what had been the impact of this pandemic? Can I get some responses? If you want to speak up, you can unmute yourself and speak up. If you want to write down into the chat window, please write down. But if you are speaking up, I request you to kindly be crisp and precise. So,
hi Rajesh, it's Masood here. I'll just go.
Hi,
Personally, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Masood, I would like you to first introduce yourself, like what you do, and then speak up about what is the impact of the pandemic. Yeah.
Sure. So my name is Masood Sheikh, and I've recently joined SumTotal. I work for the Professional Services Department as an implementation consultant. Personally, it hasn't affected me as much. I've just been holed up in the house. Financially, I think I've got a lot of sitting money because I've not had the opportunity to spend it the way I used to, example, last year. And mentally, yes, there were times when I've not been able to go out and meet other people. My concern is that, now that I've learned how to not spend money, how can I save it and how can I make it grow? So that's why I'm here for the session today.
Yeah, sure. Sure, Masood. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share? I've not seen any responses in the chat window. I thought people would be quick enough to respond in the chat window. Guys, unless you respond, no, I feel like you have just attended the Zoom meeting and sleeping somewhere else.
Yeah, actually, so like due to this pandemic, so we have some panic situation, like if we lost the job, so what will be the like? So I personally don't have any emergency money. Like, so I have some, but not that much money. Like, I personally experienced that panic situation.
Okay, Shyam. Okay. So let's deal with this. So basically, let's understand what are the current challenges in hand. Like, what are the current risks that we are facing? So if you are sitting on a lot of money, it's actually not a risk you may be looking at. But even sitting with a lot of money is also a risk, because when you're sitting with a lot of money and you don't know where and how to invest, you may end up investing in something which is not worthy of and can actually lose money. So when you lose money by investing in a wrong asset, what happens is you actually start repenting about it. कि यार साला खर्चा कर दिया तो अच्छा होता. So many people actually see it that, okay, if I'm sitting on a lot of money, it's actually not a risk. Yeah. Yeah, Masood, cryptocurrencies and all I would be taking up. So we would be taking these queries and all about investments later. Yeah. So the first thing that has come up during this pandemic is unplanned expenses. So if there are any unplanned expenses, like suddenly your health maintenance expenditure going up, if you have to travel, the travel costs have gone up. Travel has become much more hectic. People had to actually shift their bases from one place to another. So there are a lot of unplanned expenses that are happening currently. And because of the uncertainty, people are trying to even do more than that what is required. So that is one risk, that when there are certain unplanned expenditure or maybe certain health concerns, certain health issues, like suddenly koi bimar ho gaya. Today, if I have to take any of my loved one to an hospital, it has become a very concern because the expenses at hospital has gone up. Earlier, the treatment costs, which were normally a lakh, has now gone up to even 2 lakhs or 2.5 lakhs. And primarily because of a lot of other added expenditure. Like I've seen certain medical reimbursement bills coming up. So if PP kits ka kharcha 45,000. 45,000 only for PP kits. That's an additional expenditure which was never there earlier. So there have been a lot of unplanned expenses that have come up and how to deal with them. Then there are certain people who are seeing pay cut, are scared of pay cut. And when I say pay cut, doesn't mean your existing salary getting reduced. Even if you are not receiving an increment, which normally you would have, even that is also a pay cut. And why it's a pay cut? Because inflation is not stopping. So if you have been earning 1 lakh last year and normally your increment should have been 10%, it should have been 1 lakh 10,000 this year. But if your 1 lakh is just 1 lakh, it has not been reduced, but it has been still at 1 lakh. But your expenditures, which were like 70,000 earlier, has now become 80,000. Isn't that 10,000 a pay cut? So normally in financial terms, we always see basically whatever gets increased, any addition or deletion is what we see is like increase and decrease. But in financially, when we see there is something called opportunity cost, that had this not happened, I would have got something more. Or had this not happened, my expenses would not have been increased to this extent. So it is called opportunity cost. So even opportunity cost is also a cost. Then job loss. Yes, job loss continues to be a primary concern in terms of employees across. I would say in India, basically most of the corporates have done really well to keep their employees intact, to keep their jobs intact. But yes, current the global scenario is still uncertain. So things are, the dark clouds are still not gone off. Things appears to be slightly calmed down, slightly better, but we are still not out of the real danger. Because if you see, like currently, there are a lot of hopes that are hanging around on the success of COVID vaccine. And if you have been following the news, COVID vaccines efficacy is always doubtful, had been doubtful from the day one. Second, the after effects. Like in the 3 days, we've already seen 3 to 4 deaths that has happened due to COVID vaccine. People who have taken vaccine shots within 48 hours, they dying. And suddenly uh, uh, there was a clarification given by Covaxin, Bharat Biotech, that COVID vaccine is not meant for people who are low on immunity, who have certain health issues. Whereas the whole vaccine has been planned for people with low immunity and health concerns, isn't it? And suddenly everyone across the globe has felt that, okay, all fine, so we need not worry about it. So in just a minute, I forgot to put my mobile on silent mode. It happens at times. Yeah. 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 So there were a lot of hopes on the vaccine, and people have become complacent. And if anyone has undergone, have seen the pandemic history, the history of pandemics had been always that there had been first wave and there had been a severe second wave. And the second wave always comes when people have felt that the pandemic is almost at the end. The first wave is at the end. The same thing even happened with Spanish flu, even earlier, even during the plague. So if we feel history repeats, and I believe firmly that history repeats, then I personally feel the worst is yet to come. And if the worst is yet to come, we need to be financially prepared for the best. Because it is always said, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And what can go worse? So don't take any assessment with regard to your finances as on date. As on date, whatever may be position, don't take your assessment of your finances based on as on date. Always assess based on that if things go worse than what it is today, what are all the precautions? What are all the things that I'm supposed to do? This is what we need to start pondering on in today's session. So what I want each one of you is please take down your notebook and pen and start writing down whatever comes to your mind. If any concern comes, anything about, because see, at the end of the day, I'm speaking from a very general perspective, but you know your position better. And what happens is most of the time, people come here, they take the knowledge and go back. But I want you to start thinking during the session so that by the end of the session, you know what are the actions you are supposed to take. And immediately after the session, you can start taking that actions. So are you all with me? And are you all ready with your notebook and pens? And please ensure that you start writing down what all doubts, what are things come up. Here, yeah, yes, I need to do this. Let me write it down. Please ensure that you are doing that. And then People may experience a loss in their investments. Investments like investment in gold, investment in real estate, investment in shares. Anything can happen. See, currently things are very euphoric. Everything is again started rising. Gold raised, your share market rose, real estate has again started booming. But people who are entering now, they're again entering with a risk of loss in investments in future. That risk is always there. So always keep in mind. So people who are sitting with idle money, don't know what to do, don't know where to apply. In your excitement to do something, don't end up burning your hands by putting your money, by entering into stock market, by putting your money into like cryptocurrencies, in derivatives like options trading and all. Okay? So please don't be adventurous, be cautious. What happens when you are driving and when you know that the terrain that is going further, that the terrain that is being up, that you are approaching is not straight. There can be a lot of criss and cross turns and also a lot of bumps. What will you do? Will you just zoom up at a speed or will you go very cautious? What will you do? Will you zoom up or will you go very cautious? Yes, Rajesh, Vardhan. Yeah, very cautious. The same thing you need to apply even with regard to investments also. Currently, when things are very uncertain, you don't know what is going to happen in next 2 years, next 3 years. Yes, don't go with the current euphoria. Yes, today, yeah, 50,000 market, stock market reached 50,000. Gold, 60,000 pakka. Yes, people who say pakka, no, they are only just giving some prediction. No one knows what things are going to happen. No one on this planet knows after a year where are we going to be, because no one knows what virus is going to do and what its impact is going to be. So let's be practical and cautious. So what should one do? It's fine. Okay. Yeah, these are all the risks involved. But what should I do? Isn't it? No, that is the question, Rajesh. What should I do? So what you should start doing is start reviewing. Start reviewing your current situation. Now, how are you going to start reviewing your current situation? First, review your emergency corpus. Review that suddenly if you lost your job, you may be 100% sure that, okay, today have a very good, my place is very secure, nothing is going to happen to me. But just think, if you lost your job, or suddenly there's a major expenditure that has come up, what is the situation of your emergency corpus? Now, by the way, I want to know how many of you know the concept of emergency corpus, or how many of you actually have emergency corpus? And if anyone don't know what emergency corpus is, ask me, Rajesh, what it is. So when I'm speaking about any damn thing, and if you're not aware of it, please ask me, Rajesh, what it is. Yeah, Ravi rightly said, we should have an emergency fund. See, emergency corpus is, it's like your kitty. See, normally what used to happen, no? Normally what used to happen earlier, our mothers used to keep some money in your house, like in tea powder dabba, in some dal dabba. Is it, how many of you remember that? They're keeping small, like 1,000 rupees bundle in one dabba, another 1,000 rupees double in another dabba. And they used to have, like, when you go and ask money based on how much you ask, they used to pick up one dabba, take it out from that and give it to you. How many of you recall it? Or how many of you have heard of it? This is exactly an emergency corpus. That is, you keep some money that is in form of liquid cash separately, so that if at all anything is required in future in emergency, I need not depend on my regular income and I can go for it. So financial planning is nothing but trying to practically apply that age-old wisdom of what our dadas and dadis did. So create your emergency corpus. So what you should do is, in terms of emergency corpus, what you should need to do is first determine what are your monthly expenses. What is your monthly expenses? And as rightly someone posted, it should include your EMIs as well. Your EMIs and your monthly household expenses, including rent and everything, collate everything, determine that if my monthly expenses is 50,000. So 50,000 into 6, that is 3 lakhs. So 3 lakhs rupees should be in the form of an emergency corpus. And where it should be invested? Tell me, people who have been investing, tell me where it should be invested. Your 3 lakhs monthly emergency corpus, should you keep it in a savings account? Should we keep it in FDs? Liquid fund? Savings? Yes, in mutual fund, but which fund, Samruddhi? Masood says savings. Yeah. Some in FD, some in debt fund, I believe, Rajesh. Okay, I should be saving. Saving, LIC, liquid funds, debt plus equity. Okay. Let me tell you, keep your 1 month expenses in form of your savings account. Let us say 50,000 your monthly expenses, 3 lakhs is your emergency corpus, 50,000 should be kept in your savings account. Rest 2,50,000, don't invest in liquid funds, don't invest in your fixed deposits, invest in something called short-term debt funds. I repeat, it is called short-term debt funds. It is not a liquid fund. Liquid fund is something which is completely liquid. And liquid funds are currently giving a return of only 3 to 3.5%, as good as your savings account. So there's no point keeping your money into liquid fund. Liquid funds are meant for corporates, where in current account they earn 0% interest, but your savings account earn 3.5% interest. So there's no point in shifting your money as on date from your savings account to liquid funds. But you should move it to short-term debt funds. I'm just typing into the chart window so that you can note it down. Short-term debt funds. Yeah. So this is the kind of fund in which you should invest. It's a debt fund, which is a very short term, meant for an investment tenure of more than about 6 months. And since it's an emergency corpus, you should presume that it's an investment tenure of more than 6 months. So you should invest in short-term debt fund. Any suggestions for the fund? Yeah, you can go for Kotak Dynamic Bond. Or you can go for ICICI Prudential short-term fund. In fact, in value research site, if you go, if you type short-term debt fund, you will get so many short-term debt funds and you can review it. Okay. Then second thing, what you need to do is review your insurance cover. Now, when I say review your insurance cover, which insurance am I talking about? Can anyone speak up? What are the insurances that I'm talking about? When I say review your insurance cover, what are the insurances that you are supposed to review? Health, term, yes, Ravi, right? Health and term insurance. So review your health insurance cover, review your term insurance cover. Now, when I say review, what you need to check whether your health insurance and whether your term insurance cover is sufficient enough. Now, how much health insurance cover is required as on date? Tell me. Keeping the current pandemic in mind, how much health insurance is required? It would be 15 to 25 lakhs. 5 lakhs is the minimum, Ravi, but the recommended cover as on date would be 25 lakhs. So if you have a 5 lakhs cover, as Praveen rightly said, go for a top up. But the top up should be 5 lakhs plus 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs and not 10 lakhs, Praveen. And there is hardly any much money difference. Top up of 10 lakhs and a top up of 20 lakhs would just have a difference of about 1,000 to 2,000 bucks, not more than that. So go for a base cover of 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, 5 to 10 lakhs base cover, and go for a top up of 20 to 25 lakhs. So that the total is somewhere around 25 lakhs. So 25 lakhs is the minimum health cover. And in terms of term insurance, what should be the minimum cover? And someone asked me, what is the redemption time? So redemption time for short-term debt fund is just 2 working days. 1 crore, minimum 50 lakhs. Salary into 6x. Ravi, if you have a corporate insurance of 5 lakhs, you can go for a top up of 20 to 25 lakhs, even on the basis of the corporate insurance. You just need to give your current corporate insurance details while going for the top up insurance. And I would recommend when you're going for a top up insurance, take a top up insurance of the same insurance company. Like if you have a corporate insurance cover of say ICICI Health or Star Health, any of those companies, if possible, go for same company's top up. If not, at least any other top up you can go. Yeah. Now, when it comes to term insurance cover, please write it down. Term insurance cover is not 1 crore, 2 crores, 3 crores or anything. It is always in multiples of your annual salary. And it should be minimum 15 times. And the recommended is 20 to 25 times. So if your annual salary is say 10 lakhs, your term insurance cover should be 1.5 crores minimum. But I would recommend it should be between 2 to 2.5 crores. And if someone is thinking, why this much amount? Why I need 2 crores? Why I need 2.5 crores? Just think, today you are earning 10 lakhs, isn't it? And if you're earning 10 lakhs, your family's expenditure and standard of living would be based on your earning. That you are earning 10 lakhs, this is what my standard of living is. Tomorrow, if something happens to you, what do you intend? You intend your family to reduce the standard of living? No. You want them to maintain that, isn't it? And if they have to maintain that, then the earnings, that is the 10 lakhs which you are earning, should continue to come, isn't it? So if I have taken, like my earning is 10 lakhs, and if I have taken a term insurance cover of 2 crores, what will happen if something happens to me? My wife will get 2 crores upfront. Now, what is the most likelihood that she will do? What is the most likely thing that she would do? She would take this 2 crores, put it into an FD, isn't it? Once she has put it into an FD, what is the return that she would be getting? Currently, FD rate is somewhere around 5 to 5.5%, isn't it? So even if I take it 5%, she would be getting 10 lakhs. So whether I'm there or not there, my family would still continue to get the annual income which I had been earning. So that is the reason 15 times is minimum, but I recommend minimum you go for 20 times of your annual salary. So if someone has taken 1 crore, but his 20 times of annual salary is 2 crores or 3 crores, please go for another term insurance. Please go for another term insurance currently and go for a term insurance up to 75 years of age. Take a term insurance cover up to minimum 75 years of age. And third thing, start reviewing your expenses. I know currently most of you must be feeling that Rajesh, I've already cut down on my expenses. No entertainment, no pubs, nothing. Just ghar pe beto or Netflix pe movie dekho. That is what my expenses. No, but still, start reviewing your expenses and see where you can actually cut down and start increasing your savings. Focus on increasing your savings for the time being and cutting down your unnecessary expenses. So you should be very cautious whenever you are adding up on any expenditure. So any incremental, like recurring expenditure, any subscription, once it is recurring, if you're adding, if it's a one-time expenses, it's fine. But if there is any recurring expenditure, please be very cautious. Fourth and the foremost is review your loans. Start reviewing your loans. Currently, the rate of interest of almost every loan has gone down. So please go and review your loan. If your loan is at a fixed rate and your loan rate is very high, contact your financial advisor. Look for, can I swap this loan? Like if you have a home loan, ask your financial advisor or ask your banker, can I swap this loan at a current lower interest? So that you can swap it at a lower rate of interest and you can reduce your EMIs.
Hi Rajesh, this is Rajesh.
Yeah, hi Rajesh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Actually, I too got the same call from my financial advisor, bank manager. So what she told, if we do the top up now, so then the tenure for the period will be extended. Due to that, I am going to increase my number of EMIs. So that will again causing me to the additional burden for me. So how to how to ensure that I can avail this offer.
Okay. Rajesh, first thing, what I spoke about was swapping of the loan and not a top-up loan. A top-up loan is adding up your loan.
Yes.
Okay. So don't top up of the loan unless you don't require. It's a big no, first thing.
Okay.
Now it's only a marketing trick which the bankers are paying because they want to offload loans. And currently house loans is the most secured sector. Because if I go and give a loan to some shop fellow or some business fellow, it is highly risky. But if I'm going to give to a salaried employee as a home loan, his home is there as a security, so it's more of a secured asset. Okay, so don't please fall into the trap. Don't go for any top-up loan. Second, swapping for better rate and top loan are two different things. Yes, that is what Masood, I'm just telling that. Yeah. So don't go for any top-up loan. Yes, look for a swapping, like your existing loan. Try to see what is your rate of interest. And if your rate of interest is anything more than 7%, home loan, if it is more than 7%, you can always get a better deal. So please go out, look for a better deal. And last but not the least, what you need to do is start reviewing your investments. Start reviewing your investments. So reviewing your investments in the sense, not just reviewing whether I have got profits or not. Reviewing your investments also mean whether you have properly diversified your portfolio. Are you highly invested into real estate? Are you highly invested into equities? Please review your investments. And if your mutual funds or if your stock market things are already giving you a very good profit, kindly partly book your profits. Kindly partly book your profits. Book your profits partly. And how should I book my profits partly is not redeeming. So say, for example, I'm invested into SIP for 5 years. Currently, my returns on my portfolio is somewhere around 20-25%. 20-25%. Now, currently, stock market is at 50,000. Will it go 60? It may. Will it go 70? It may. Will it go back to 40? It may. Anything is possible. No one knows. No one has an answer where the stock market is headed to. So what should I do in this scenario? Boss, become a bit conservative. Stop being greedy. Become a bit conservative and start being greedy. What you should do is, out of your current investments, keep your existing SIP running. Current investments, redeem, no. What you need to do, switch them to short-term debt fund. What you need to do, switch it to a short-term debt fund. Like from equity, switch it to a short-term debt fund so that tomorrow when the market falls, whenever there is a market correction, you can again put this money from short-term debt fund to equity fund. But don't redeem. Never redeem your existing investment. What you do is move from equity to debt fund. And whenever there is a market correction, again switch back from your debt fund to equity fund. This is what we have done to all our clients. And that is what I'm actually advising you.
Can I ask one question, Rajesh?
Yeah, Neil.
So if we, for an example, if all of my mutual fund, I move this amount to short-term debt funds. So first I have to sell all these mutual funds, right?
That is what I'm saying. Don't sell.
No, how can I move this amount to short-term?
Do a switch. There is something called switching of funds. Like if I'm invested in Axis Blue Chip Fund, I can switch from Axis Blue Chip to Axis Short-Term Fund.
Okay, the same amount.
Same amount, all units. I can switch from Axis Blue Chip to Axis Short-Term Debt.
And that is not taxable because I gain 30 or 25%.
Yeah, that is not taxable because you're not redeeming it.
Okay. Okay, that is something new. Thanks.
That is not taxable because you're not redeeming it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So what you do is you switch it. Only thing is be cautious about the exit load. So see that because if you are switching it over within less than 1 year, there will be exit load of 1%. So what you should do is any investments which is older than 365 days, switch it out to a short-term debt fund. Don't stop your existing SIP. Let the existing SIP continue. So what will happen is you're switching over your investments which is more than 1 year old to a short-term debt fund. So what you're doing, you're protecting the profits that you've already created. On the other hand, to participate in the current rally, if it is going further, like from 50 to 60, if it is going, your last 1 year investment is already there. Second, you would continue your SIP. So you would be continue participating. So there's somewhere a balance between the greed as well as the conservativeness. So you try to balance between both. Samruddhi, for diversifying, is it a good option to invest into global funds? Yes, global funds can be invested, but always remember, even global funds come with risk. The home we are living is not real estate investment. No. Yes, Ravi. The home you are living in is not a real estate investment. The home you are living in is, in fact, should not be considered as an asset at all. It is only a replacement of your rental. And if you have already taken a loan, like if you have taken a loan and if you are paying EMI, then frankly, the home you are living in is a liability and not an asset. It's altogether different topic. Someday I will take it up because many people don't get convinced, like agree with me. But personally, I should always feel that buying a house on home loan just because I'm getting at a lower rate of interest is not really a prudent decision. If you go traditional wisdom, when our forefathers used to buy a house, they used to buy a house just before the retirement. When they know all my kids are settled, all my things are everything. No, I'm trying to build a home where I can peacefully retire and relax. This is when they used to think of for a home. And today, in a scenario where I don't know whether I'm working in Hyderabad, but tomorrow whether I would be in Mumbai or Bangalore, don't know where my job is going to take me. What's the point in buying a house in Hyderabad and then getting stuck? Boss, mera ghar idhar Hyderabad mein, Hyderabad chhod ke nahi jaunga. There are so many people who call us saying that, and when you do the financial planning, I realize, okay, Hyderabad I'm paying rent, but Bombay mein pehle tha, Bombay mein mera ghar hai. Bhai ghar aap kharido, maze koi aur kare. Short-term debt fund has any fixed time frame, or we can keep it forever like other mutual funds. Short-term debt fund has no time frame. In fact, you can keep it forever. There are two things. Short-term debt fund is there, and there is dynamic bond fund. So people who have some understanding of mutual funds can actually look on their own. You can you could also look at dynamic bond funds. So dynamic bond funds are like something which is very dynamic in nature and not short-term or long-term. They move as per the current scenario. But short-term bond funds, yes, it can be there forever as an emergency corpus. So your emergency corpus, whether you're keeping it for 6 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, keep it in a short-term debt fund. In the meanwhile, would you recommend that we read a little more on this topic would help? Okay, Masood. The thing is, just look at when we say, any one of you are planning to buy a house?
Hi, it's Masood here. I just wanted to maybe be a bit more clear about this. So I am based out of Pune and I'll be moving to Hyderabad after the work from home policy ends. I'm under a lot of pressure from my family, my uncles, dad, to buy a house or a land in Pune, and I don't know when I'm coming back to Pune. So I don't really know. And then I'm told that I'll be spending around 25,000-30,000 on rent in Hyderabad. So I could use that money to, pay for my EMI, and I just have no clue what to do. But I don't want to be I don't want to pressurize myself with a mortgage and a recurring payment for the next, I don't know how many ever years. So maybe
I agree with
that
you.
would help.
See, one thing is there are two kinds of things which you need to look at. First thing is, what is the financial impact? Second thing is, what is the mental impact of the burden that you are carrying? कि मेरे सर पे इतना लोन है. Okay. So it is not just financial prudence that you should look at. You should also look at the burden, because once we buy a home, there is a lot of emotional attachment. It's like buying gold, buying a house, are both same thing. Tomorrow, if you need, you may actually go neck deep, but you will not like selling it off, isn't it? You may go neck deep, but you will not like selling off your wife's gold. This is what it is. We have got a lot of emotional. We Indians are emotional fools, and that is also our strength. We get attached to certain things very emotionally. And home is something very critical for us. So always think of certain factors. First thing, whether the home which I'm currently buying, will I be living in the same home for the next 10 to 15 years minimum? क्या मैं 10 से 15 साल उसी घर में रहूंगा? Now, if you ask me, if I go and currently buy, I don't own a house. I'm in a rented house only. My wife has been pressurizing me for the last 4 years to buy a house. Okay. I've got a daughter of 14 years and 11 years. Now tell me, today if I have to buy a house, we are 4 people, my mom, so 5. So 5 of us, I need to mandatorily go for a 3 BHK house. 5 to 6 years down the line, my elder daughter is in 8th. 5 to 6 years down the line, what will happen? She is bound to leave me for higher education. My younger daughter is just 2 years younger. Within 2 years, she will also leave me for some higher education, or career, or marriage, whatever it may be. There is no certainty that both my daughters are going to stay with me. What would I do with this 3 BHK? At that point of time, 2 BHK would be more than enough for me, isn't it? So first factor, think whether the house that you are going to live in, will you like to continue in it even after next 10 to 15 years? That is the first factor. Now let's come to financial thing. I'm going to go and buy a house for 50 to 60 lakhs. Now, if I'm going and buying a house for 50 to 60 lakhs, what my EMI is going to be? EMI would be somewhere around 30 to 35,000 bare minimum, isn't it? 30 to 35,000 bare minimum. Now, what is the rent that I would be getting if I rent it out? What is the rent I would be getting if I rent it out? 15,000. So what is the added pressure now you are taking on you? Almost another 20,000. 20,000 is an added pressure, isn't it? People try to make you a fool by saying that, boss, तुम वैसे भी रेंट भर रहे हो ना, उससे अच्छा EMI ले लो. अरे ठीक है, मेरे रेंट में अगर EMI मिल रहा है ना, go and buy a house. Even if you are paying 15,000 rent, and if you are getting a house with only 20 to 25,000, that is just 40 to 50% more than what you're paying rent, please go and get your house. But if you're paying anything more than that, you're actually fooling yourself. Because what will happen is this 20,000, if you invest somewhere else, invest into mutual funds or anything, what would be the rate of return? It would be somewhere around 12 to 13%. But residential properties, see, investing in open plots, investing in land, investing in commercial properties is different because they have a very different growth phase. But when you are investing in a residential property, when you are investing in a home, first 2 to 3 years or 4 years, you see a lot of appreciation. Afterwards, what happens? Does the value of your home, does the value of the furniture, does it increase or decreases? The construction cost and the furniture cost, does the value increase or decrease? It decreases. The value that you would be getting only for the land, तुम्हारा घर का जो land है ना, उसका ही तुम्हारे को value मिलेगा, not of the furniture. Furniture after 5 years is like zero value. Furniture after 5 to 6 years is zero value. And today, what is the furniture cost? If I'm taking a house of 50, see earlier, if I'm taking a house of 50 lakhs, my furniture used to be 4 to 5 lakhs. But is it today? 50 lakh का घर ले रहे, 25 lakh का furniture लगा रहे. Because it is my home. But if I'm going in the rented house, no such cost. So think of all this stuff, that what are going to be. See, residential properties overall give you a return of only about 8 to 9%. 2 to 3% is the rental yield. That is the amount which you get through rent. Around 3% is the rental yield, and 6% is actually property appreciation over a period of 10 to 15 years. So effectively, you will be getting somewhere around 9% if you are really lucky, 10 to 11% at best. But if you invest the same thing into an equity, you will get more than 12%. First thing. Second thing is, ये जो तलवार लटकती है ना EMI की, ये नहीं रहेगी सर पे. Third thing, you need not be stuck with the same home after 5 years, 10 years if you don't want that home. So keep all these factors in mind and then take a decision. अभी yes or no मैं नहीं बोलूंगा, क्योंकि मैं yes or no बोलूंगा तो तुम्हारे मम्मी पापा या तुम्हारे बीवी आके मेरे को मारेंगे. Okay, so let's sum up. What are we actually supposed to do? And Masood, one thing, boss, when it comes to financials, no, we need to be very practical, first thing. Second, think futuristic. What is the impact going to be of the action which I take 5 to 10 years down the line? Always think futuristic. आज से 5 से 10 साल के बाद उसका effect क्या रहेगा? And even if you say that, okay, after 10 years, based on my impact assessment, I feel yes, this is still going to be a prudent decision, then go for it. You may be wrong, you may be right. That no one can actually tell you, but at least be prudent enough to think futuristic. So yes, this is what the action plan in one shot. So if you want, you can take a snapshot of this. So this is what the action plan. What you all need to do is create an emergency corpus of minimum 6-month expenses, invest into a short-term debt fund. Term insurance, minimum 15 times of your annual income. But what I said, what it should be, what is the recommendation which I give? 15 times of your annual income is a minimum. But what is the recommendation I give? Anyone recollect? It is actually 20 times of your annual income. Third, health insurance. Try to go for a top up and create your medical cover of about 25 lakhs. Savings. See, you have got into mode of savings. Now, what you should start doing is ensure that you continue the savings mode by planning at least 30% of your annual income every year as a savings. And then incremental income, if you get any increment or anything, every year decide that 40% of my increment is going to go for my savings. Now, when you're doing for your savings, what you need to do is, I'm going to the next point, that is 6th point. When you're looking at your savings, what you should do is write down your financial goals. Write down your financial goals, long-term financial goals. So what basically your financial goals, tell me. What are your financial goals? Each one of you, what are your financial goals in your life? The financial goals for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. What are your financial goals? New car, buy a plot, financial freedom, new car and home, car, house, not to be poor. Make a good future corpus. Can you observe one thing? Not even a single person has mentioned, what is the exact amount that he or she is looking for. That I need 6 lakhs for buying a car. I need a corpus of 5 crores to be financially free. Has it been mentioned? बस तुम पैसे की बात कर रहे हो और तुम पैसा ही नहीं. You're not even mentioning a number. Can you look at? When you're speaking about your financial goals, you don't even have a number in your mind. That what is that amount? What is exactly that you need to take it? No work after 40. Anil, if I ask you, if you don't want to work after 40, what is that amount that you would require by the time you turn 40? Do you have an answer? Ravi, 3 crore for financial freedom. In how many years? 50 lakhs in next 7 years. 3 crores for financial freedom in 15 years. Now, if you collect 3 crores after 15 years, what is the amount that you would be getting? So after 3 years, say you are getting a return of about 8% on 3 crores. What is the 8% of 3 crores? It's going to be somewhere around 24 lakhs. That is 2 lakhs per month would be your return on your 3 crores corpus. So with your expenses, will that 2 lakhs per month income will be enough for you to be financially free? This is exactly how you should start thinking about the financial planning. When you say, write down your goals, break it up all, like my buying a car, buying a house, my kids' education, everything, and write down what is it current cost. My current say my kids' education, my elder daughter who is 14 years old, I want to save for her higher education. So when I need, I would be needing in next 7 years. After 7 years, today I need a money of 50 lakhs. So 50 lakhs after 7 years would be somewhere around 80 lakhs. So what is my goal? My goal is to achieve a corpus of 80 lakhs by 2028 for my daughter's higher education. Is this goal very clear? Today's cost is 50. After 7 years, it would be 80. So by 2028, I need 80 lakhs for my daughter's higher education. Similarly, I want to retire in the next, say, 15 years. So when it would be 2035. So by 2035, I need a retirement corpus of 10 crores. Specify your financial goals in detail. So write down your financial goals and then see every investment that you're making. That I'm doing an SIP of 25,000. So out of 25,000, 15,000 is for my daughter's higher education and 10,000 is for retirement. So I'm very clear that 15,000, whatever is the corpus that is being created is for my daughter. 10,000, what is the corpus that is being created is for my retirement. Because it is not that, okay, today I will save what all I have saved. I will spend it for my daughter's education and once my testing, then I will start accumulating for my retirement. No. You need to start saving for your multiple financial goals parallelly. You cannot have that, okay, ये achieve कर लूं पहले, ये achieve करने के बाद दूसरा achieve करूंगा. No, it has to be like this much amount is demarcated for my kids' education. This is for my kids' marriage. This is for my own retirement. This is for my foreign tour. You need to start demarcating it. And then we spoke about swapping your existing loans to lower interest loans. Start exploring what are the opportunities available currently to encash the current low interest regime. 7th, people who are sitting in your ideal cash, please understand your risk appetite before you invest. You need to understand your risk appetite, first thing. Second thing is your own understanding of that asset. So people who are investing into cryptocurrency, boss, cryptocurrency has become a fashion. And today investment has also become a fashion. Like how you go to a store and see, boss, currently the trend is like this kind of shirt or this kind of jeans, this kind of this thing. So even I want to. So dekha dekhi bahut ho raha hai. No. Go for, is swapping applicable to personal loan also? Yes, Rajesh. There also you can go for. You can go for a new personal loan. See, because current rate of interest are lower than what it used to be earlier. So please go. So you will have to swap from one bank to another. So you will have to take a new personal loan, repay your existing personal loan. This is what you need to do. Yeah. So please understand your risk appetite and also understand whether you know how to deal in that investment or not. Like people who have opened demat accounts and are investing into stock market, please learn how to invest into stock market and then go for investments. Because if you are going for learning swimming, will you go and learn swimming or just go and take a plunge into the swimming pool? जाके सीधा डुबकी लगा दोगे 15 feet deep swimming pool में. Huh, Masood? You want to go for cryptos? If I say if you don't know swimming, आपको swimming आता है मसूद भाई? Swimming आता है, okay. But if you don't know swimming, and if I say go and jump into 15 feet deep pool, will you jump? Will you go? Makes sense. I will not. But today, when you know swimming, and if you go and jump, is it same risky? When I say if you don't know swimming and when you jump, you said doesn't make sense. I will not because it's too risky, isn't it? बस मेरे को नहीं आता है तो मैं कैसे जंप करूंगा यार? पहले मैं सीखूंगा स्विमिंग, उसके बाद जाके करूंगा. But when you know swimming, you can happily go and jump. And will the risk would be same? पर पानी तो same है ना? Same 15 feet का पानी है, same swimming pool है. But where the risk has changed, The risk has changed because you know how to handle it. Same thing with stock market. Stock market is not risky. The risk comes when you don't know how to play into the stock market. You don't know how to enter into the stock market, how to deal in the stock market. So please don't experiment with investments. If you want to try, I'm not saying no to cryptos. Before going for cryptos, please learn about cryptos. Then if it makes sense to you, then go and invest into cryptos. Got it? By the way, cryptos, what is the base? There is nothing. It's only a digital asset जिसका कोई फाउंडेशन नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, मतलब हवा में लटकती हुई मीनार जैसा है. And then invest in various assets. Invest in various assets. So invest into various variety of assets. Don't invest into single asset. Please diversify. So look at your portfolio, whether it is real estate heavy, whether it is equity funds heavy, whether it is gold heavy. So diversify and don't invest more than 50% of your portfolio into single asset class. Like अगर आप equity funds में invest कर रहे हैं तो 50% से ऊपर investment करिए. Diversify it. Like 50% invest into equity, 30-40% into debt, 10-20% into gold or real estate. Please diversify your investments. And real estate, please invest only if you know you will not require this money for the next 10 years. If you have a holding capacity of 10 years, only then invest into real estate. Else, refrain from investing into real estate in the current scenario till you become very clear about your future income. How much a person should plan for real estate investment as per you? As per me, your real estate investment should be somewhere around 30 to 50%. 30% on the minimum side, 50% on the maximum side, not more than that. So don't invest more than 50%. But yes, the 30 to 50% should also be based on your own understanding. Don't go just because someone has gone and bought a plot, I will also go and buy a plot. Please do your study, please do your research before investing into real estate. And second thing I said is invest into real estate only when you have a holding capacity for next 10 years. See, there is some concept called capacity to suffer. Capacity to suffer, that if things go wrong, if things don't go the way you have expected, if things go wrong, what is your capacity to suffer? And you should have a capacity to suffer without being able to sell this investment into real estate for the next 10 years. If you can hold it on to the next 10 years, only then invest. But if you see, okay, today I will invest, but if tomorrow, like 3 years, 4 years down the line, if I need money, I will sell it off. Please don't. And last but not the least, as I told you, be prudent in adding any recurring expenses. So if you're adding up to any expenses, any new expenses, which are going to be month on month, year on year for the next few years, be very prudent. Now, expenses doesn't mean your insurance premium. So your insurance premium are not expenditure. Your insurance premiums would be something as a safety net. So don't treat them as an expenditure. They are neither as a investments. They're actually a safety net which you are creating. Okay. Kadam says, please keep such sessions twice a month. Kadam, okay, you have put a direct message to me, but you need to put a request to Ethica Work Life because it is they who decide how many and when my session should be.
Yeah, we'll take this into consideration.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So how can I support? So if you need any support of mine, how can I support you? Is you can reach me out. I can help you, guide you out in preparing a holistic financial plan and curate a investment solution that what combination, how it should be. I request you also, these are the glimpses of certain workshops which I have conducted because pre-pandemic, I used to conduct a lot of live workshops. ये वेबिनार अभी भी सेट नहीं हो रहा यार, अपनी शक्ल देख के बोर होने लगता है, सच में बोल रहा हूँ. Okay, but yes, these are the glimpses of the various workshops which we have conducted in MBA colleges, in corporates. I request you all, there is a in your chat window, there is a link given for a hi-fi club. It's a financial hi-fi club where I'm there personally trying to answer to all your queries. So if you have any queries related to your personal financial thing, you can post into that and I will try my best to respond to the queries as effectively and as fast as possible. Yeah. So I request you all to please join this WhatsApp group. The link is there in the chat window. There's a WhatsApp number. So 9704030202 is my personal WhatsApp number. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm there on LinkedIn in the name of Rajesh Kumar Jain. If you have any questions, please, I would be happy to answer.
Yeah, we have another 5 minutes to go. If you have any questions, please use this opportunity and ask. And as Rajesh said, until the next session, between the next session and this one, you can use our WhatsApp community, the Financial Hi-Fi Club that we have, for which the link is already given here. If you need any hand-holding for any of your financial queries or questions, Rajesh will be available out there to help you. I think we've missed out one of Kadam's question, Rajesh, which is reposted. It's here. He says whether selling mutual fund and reducing home loan a good option, or keeping the mutual fund continuing.
Kadam, I would suggest, see, if paying your EMIs is a financial burden to you, then yes, selling off your mutual funds and clearing of your home loan would be a good option. But if it is not, then please continue both. Because at the end of the day, the loan which you are paying at a very low interest, it is at around 7.5%. And if I take the tax savings into consideration, the effective interest which you are paying would be somewhere around 5.5 to 6% maximum. And your existing MF investments, if you go for a long term, all likelihood of they earning much more than what you're paying as an interest would be very high. So continue both parallelly, unless it is a financial burden to you as of now, based on your current, like somewhere my income levels have gone down, or that I see certain stress on my other expenses, so I want to reduce my expenses. Yes, then you can. What is better investment for tax savings? For better investment for tax saving, Shyam Sundar, two things. Go for your term insurance. Second, rest all money, invest into equity-linked savings scheme, ELSS mutual funds. So the best would be a combination of term insurance plus ELSS fund. I'm typing into the chart window. Plus ELSS funds. And people who are into the tax brackets of 20 to 30%. So people who are falling into the tax brackets of 20 to 30%, go for NPS. Go for an NPS. Shyama Sundar, any suggestion in ELSS fund? They are sub suggestion free mein chahiye. Okay, ELSS funds, I recommend two funds: Access tax saving funds and Parak Parik ELSS funds. These are the two ELSS funds, and Mire tax over fund, Mire assets tax over funds. These are the three funds you can look at. You can split your ELSS investments. Like if you want to invest 1 lakh, you can invest 40 in one, 30 in another. So that is how you can do. And as I said, people who are into tax bracket of 20 to 30%, investing into NPS does make sense because you get an additional deduction of 50,000 for NPS. It is in addition to your ATC. ATC, it gives 1.5 lakhs. In addition to that, NPS gives you an add-on deduction possibility of 50,000.
Okay, I think, thank you, Rajesh. Thank you so much for this great session. We had a lot of insights, and I'm sure this will have a very positive impact on our financial well-being and our preparedness financially for this pandemic and beyond it as well. So any further questions, please feel free to add on to the WhatsApp group that we've just mentioned, and Rajesh will help you with that. So we'll see you all in our next financial session. We'll keep you updated. Thank you once again, all of you, for making this session so interactive. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you. Thanks, Amina.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Yeah. And please don't forget to give feedback onto the Facebook group. So, Samina, can you just post the WhatsApp group link and also the Facebook group feedback link before we end up the sessions?
Sure. We've already done, but it's a good idea to do it again. I'll request Arshia, my colleague here. Arshia, please post the WhatsApp community link and also the feedback link. We'll really appreciate if you can post a line or two on our WhatsApp, on our Facebook page, giving us your feedback. You can also mention the requirement that you may have for our next session. If you want us to conduct a particular or cover a particular financial topic in our next session, you can please feel free to mention that as well. And how did you like our today's session and our sessions that we've done previously? Please feel free to give some feedback to us. Yeah, this is the Facebook link that you see is for the feedback. And here is the WhatsApp community link. Please feel free to join it and use it. We all will be there to help you out with all your financial queries. Thank you, Rajesh, once again. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Samina. Yeah.
Good day, all of you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.